Hey, Becky, what about this beat for your next song?
It's cool, but I'm into faster stuff lately, like Xfinity that gives me beyond gig speeds.
Got it. What about this then?
It sounds powerful, just like Xfinity. Because its supersonic Wi-Fi has 3 times the bandwidth, you can connect hundreds of devices at once.
That's what I call power.
Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed. Requires compatible Xfinity gateway. Limited quantities available.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to the latest episode of 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for joining us on your favorite podcast app. We're now on Red Circle as well as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Also subscribe to the 5 Reasons YouTube channel and check out 5reasonsports.com. Make sure you spell that one out. Also, check out the great sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. That includes our friend Mark Brown. You can find him in North Lauderdale, right off of Cypress and Andrews, but also at Mark Brown, M-A-R-C, brownpa.com. He's the man with the plan. If you're young with a family, if you're old with a family, if you have a family, if you don't have a family, you still need an estate plan. So reach out to Mark. He'll go through all the papers with you. It's not expensive. It's not a difficult process, and he'll get it done right. He did it for me. He also helped me with 2 of my closings. He can do that for you in that exact same office. So reach out to markbrownpa.com. Again, that's M-A-R-C, brownpa.com. The phone number, 954-566-5678. That's 954-566-5678. And now today's 2-part episode, interviews with Max Strus and also with Duncan Robinson.
Down the bitch gang. Yeah. 5 on the floor, ride for my dogs. Where here's the thing, you can check the score. Hustle hard, couple scars, wearing bubble frogs. Just like Bucker said, you in trouble, y'all. Kept the floor playing, got it all band. Y'all seen the block, stop with one hand. And Pat we trust, it's power, have the guts. We're here to bring the heat, y'all can hang it up.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, and Alex Toledo, plus others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Here with Max Strus. When you kind of looked at the season as a whole and decided what you wanted to train in this year, what jumped out to you first? What in order to take that kind of next step now that you're an established player in the league?
Yeah, honestly, after the playoffs, it was just getting my body right. I told you guys the media day, but I felt like I wear down at the end of the year, so I just wanted to make sure I was my body's in the right frame of mind and I had everything in order to last the whole year. And then after that, it was getting comfortable doing other things other than just catching and shooting. So obviously in the playoffs, they ran me off the line and made me go into the paint. So those other things, working on floaters, working on finishes, making plays, getting in the lane. So there's a lot of that stuff and just getting comfortable with doing those things.
But you've always been comfortable with that to a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, with the ball in your hands.
It was just touching it back up and refining it. When you're trying to make it in the NBA, you want to be elite at one thing. So in my mind, in order to get on the floor, it was be a knockdown shooter. So that's really all I did. And then I played like that in college,
right?
Doing that stuff. So it was just getting back in the flow of things. It didn't take much, but just touching up on it and getting comfortable doing it.
You also did it in summer league though too. I mean, they put the ball in.
Yeah, right. But it's different scenarios.
Right.
Summer league, the ball's in my hand a lot more. These ones are coming off screens and then making a decision out of that. So it's a lot of different scenarios, but a lot of the similar stuff, but it was just touching it up and refining it.
How much did that help, that experience where basically, I mean, they were trusting you to make plays down the stretch of games in summer league and all that? Like, how much recall was there of that? Like, just that experience. I mean, you were the star of the team in summer league, essentially, right. and they wanted it that way, right?
Yeah. It was more so just a confidence thing.
Yeah.
It was just being comfortable, being out there and regaining that confidence that I had in college. Just being the guy and knowing that if I'm open, it's your time to shoot. So, and that just carried over into the season. And They just built confidence in me and myself, and that carried over, and I had a good year.
What did you hear from other guys around the league? Because to a certain degree, down here you didn't sneak up on us because we were following what you were doing, but around the league, I think you might have a little bit. Did anybody offer you any kind of, whether it was trash talk or congratulations or I'm impressed with your game, or was any of that sort of stuff?
There was a couple. As the season went on, it was kind of more so of like people knew when I was coming to the game. They knew who I was. They knew what I was capable of. And then a couple of the older guys, a couple of the vets were just like, I see, like they know what it takes to get to that level and to start playing those minutes. So they were very appreciative and happy for me. Older teammates like Thad Young, who I had in Chicago, and then a lot of the guys in Chicago that I was with. Just happy to see how I've grown.
He's one of those good vets, right?
Great vet, great vet. So they were just happy to see that. Because with them, I was with the torn ACL, so they know I came a long way. So they're just happy to see me playing and getting minutes that I deserve.
How much time did it take to get trust back in your body and your knee and all that after what you had to go through?
2-year process.
Yeah.
Everybody says it's 9 months, but mentally it's a long time. I still think about doing a Euro step because that's how I did it. So it's always going to be in the back of my mind. It's always something that you have to get over, but I'm way more comfortable with it now, and just put myself in those situations in the off season and in the weight room and things like that, just to build strength and build up the confidence in doing it.
Are you? Does it amuse you that you surprise people with your athleticism still?
Yeah, you would like to think people have seen it by now, but I guess they haven't. Yeah, I hope I keep surprising people. It's fun.
What about the video? The video that went viral though, where you were basically
whatever I was doing in the summer.
Right. It was like Teen Wolf essentially.
It was fun. People didn't even know I could do that. I got a lot of messages that were like, "Dude, I didn't know you could do this. I've been doing that since high school." So
right.
People just don't really follow me, I guess, that closely.
But people there know.
Yeah,
like in Illinois, they know.
It's just because I don't do it in games, obviously, but and I'm not posting on social media all the time, so. But I like to think I'm pretty athletic. I'd like to show that a little more.
So on an athleticism tree here. Okay, where are we?
I'm like an average athlete in the NBA.
I was gonna say Bam and Caleb on this team. Who are the best athletes on this? As an athlete, as a pure athlete. Really?
Yes.
Okay, because I think most people would not say that.
Jimmy hides it too. Jimmy's a freak. Bam, obviously. Caleb. This young dude, Jamal Cain.
Yeah.
Freak.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's easy for him. He just he's got springs in him. It's unreal. And I played against him in college, so I know he's athletic.
Well, you say Jimmy hides it, because we think of Jimmy's game as like below ground a little
Jimmy's
bit.
So muscular and like when he does it, it doesn't look like it's. But when you actually go back and watch him do things, it's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. His head can get to the rim the way if he really wants to.
Right.
He jumps fully, but he just doesn't do it all the time.
Have you posterized anybody in a practice?
No. Not yet. Hopefully, maybe by the end of this week, hopefully I can get one.
I was talking to UD about, and he takes this stuff very personally because obviously he was one of the undrafteds. I'm old enough to have been at his first summer league, actually, so I remember when he broke in, and there's been such a line of these guys, but also I think it leads to the way that you guys are perceived nationally, which bothers him. We were just talking about it, that nobody thinks what happened last year was serious, that everybody thought you guys were a fluke, you were leading the East, but somebody was going to overtake you. It was going to be the Sixers, it was going to be the Nets, it was going to be the Bucks. The same thing's happening again. In fact, the perception is every team in the East got better, except you guys, or at least the top teams. You guys hear it, right? Mm-hmm. And what do you think of it?
It's the same shit every year. We're used to it. This is my third year here now, so it is annoying. I don't know when the respect is going to come, that we do it every year, that we're always among the top. So I'm hoping this year is the same thing, and I think we got the talent to do it. And like he said, it's the undrafted thing. It's the always being counted out. And we got guys that thrive off of that and want to be those type of players that surprise people and earn it.
So you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. Because even I was talking to Tyler yesterday, and he was saying he hears everything, he sees everything, he reads everything. You guys share the stuff.
I don't really pay attention to that shit. But,
no.
We know. We see the standings and stuff like that, so we know. But I don't really read the media like that and do all that stuff. But it's just extra motivation. It's just more stuff to fuel our fire and get us playing better.
You talk about the adjustments you made. Do you think teams are going to make more adjustments to you now over the offseason? Because now, again, you are on the scouting report.
Right. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's film now. There's time that I've been playing in crucial games. So I would imagine teams are going to try to take me out of what I like to do. So I hope I'm prepared for that and I'm ready for it.
You, long term, obviously there's been a lot of talk about who starts and who doesn't. That'll sort itself out in camp, I'm sure. And I'm sure Eric's going to go a bunch of different ways. Does it matter to you more to start or to finish?
Finish. Yeah. I'd rather be in the game at the end of the game. I think that's where it's really important. Obviously, we want to get off to a good start and help that out. But I think it's who's playing the crucial minutes at the end of the game and getting us and finishing out the win.
Most players feel that way, but yet the fans and media seem to focus on the other part, right?
Of course, yeah, of course. That's how it usually goes. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just like a status thing, or that you're a starter.
But you got those finishing minutes last year. I mean, a lot of them, including when it mattered.
Yeah.
In the big games.
Kind of earned my. You said I got the
finishing minutes. Yeah.
That kind of earned my starting role too.
Yeah.
That I was able to be on the court with those guys and be comfortable with them. So I just built that up over time, and I think Jimmy and Kyle are all comfortable playing with me and Bam. So I'm just gonna keep doing my part and fit in where I fit in.
What's the most recent conversation you had with Pat about your game? Does he talk to you much? Does he come down from high heaven and grace yourselves?
I look good coming back. My body looked good, so
that figures.
Really
that's really that.
Of course, that's always for body fat, right? But yeah, no, I haven't gotten a chance to talk to him yet while we've been out here. You kind of stay away from over there. But.
I was gonna say that little corner over there. I could
say hi and keep it moving. That's my goal.
If I was to say to you in 5 years, this is where Max Strus wants to be. I'm not talking about a place. I assume maybe this would be a good place for you, not the Bahamas specifically, but obviously, where do you want your career to be?
I just want to be a certified NBA 25, 30-minute-a-game player that can help teams win and provide a role and be a great player in that role. So I see myself playing for a long time, hopefully. Just sticking to what I do and being great at it.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
We'll get to our next interview in a second, this one with Duncan Robinson. Before we do, I want to tell you about another great sponsor of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, and that's Therapist Preferred. Use the code 5RSN, that's the number 5RSN. Get 25% off the tincture, the sports cream, the gummies. That's all at therapistpreferred.com. Premium CBD at not a premium cost. Helps your recovery, helps you with sleep. Again, it's therapistpreferred.com. Use the code 5, that's the number 5RSN. And for all your grooming products below the belt, as well as cologne, deodorant, and more, go to manscaped.com. Use that same code, 5RSN, number 5RSN, and you get 20% off. And now, an interview with Duncan Robinson. For you this offseason, kind of what was sort of your focus? What did you want to focus on? What did you want to concentrate on the most?
First off, just learning and growing from last year, applying it, and really just kind of locking into a routine, a rhythm of everything, being very diligent, consistent. Something I've always prided myself on, but really just tried to make minor improvements to just kind of level it up. My routine, my process, just come back a better player. Not a completely different player, because that's probably unrealistic, but just trying to be realistic about how I can improve within the margins and just come back a better player.
I know with your journey, it's always been about kind of proving yourself and, all the way through. Do you feel, though, this is a little bit back to roots in the sense that last year we kind of figured you'd be a starter? This year it's a little bit of a different role for you potentially, but you have an opportunity to be a key factor.
I'm real comfortable here, man. I'm real comfortable here.
And just in terms of your shooting, I think what most people don't realize is for long stretches of the season, you shot 40 to 45% from three.
Yeah.
And you had those kind of runs.
Yeah, I mean, look, I try not to get too caught up in it. Obviously, it's unrealistic to say that you're never going to. But yeah, man, I try to just be process driven with it. I know it sounds good and it's cliche, but I really do. stretches when the ball aren't going in, the ball isn't going in. Obviously, it can weigh on you a little bit, but I've grown a lot in that area. Going through that last year hardens you in a lot of respects. So, you're not going to see anything different. I'm going to continue to let it fly.
But when you look back at that stretch of the season, what was it? Was it the early stretch of the season? Because again, there was a 4-month period you shot
it's a
close
lot of
to
things,
43% from three.
It's never one thing. It's a lot of contributing factors. Looking back, watching some of the film, I don't even recognize the player in some respects. Just the way the ball was coming out. Some of it's physical, some of it's mental. They just kind of compound off of each other. So, I feel like I'm in a great place. Between the ears and playing with some levity, which is nice. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah, because that's when we were talking about it last year. It's sometimes, is it usually the mental that affects the physical there? I mean, because your form, your form to you, when you look back at it, it looked different to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's a joint relationship. One can affect the other can affect the other. It's science. Shooting isn't a perfect science. It's more of an art in a lot of ways. So you got to have things firing on all cylinders. That's mentally, that's physically. And one little thing being kind of off can kind of throw the whole thing in a funk, especially when you're trying to be so careful. And I think that was kind of my thing. I felt like I was being very careful instead of just confident to let that thing ride.
How did you get it back? Was there a moment you were like, okay, I feel comfortable, I feel like myself?
Man. It's funny, I never think of it as back. I think of it as just continuing to push the envelope of what I can be. So, I have stretches where the ball's going in. I try not to get too hyped up about that either. It's always about making little adjustments here and there.
You look at the Atlanta game, obviously, where you had, the 8 threes in the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, I think it was 8, yeah. 8 or 9 maybe?
Right.
8 maybe? I don't know.
I think it was 8 of 9. When you look at that, do you look at the good stuff, or when you tend to focus going forward? Do you look at, okay, it looked good that game, I'm going to look more at that, or you look at the games where you struggle?
Honestly, a game like Atlanta is an outlier, the same way 1 for 9 is an outlier. You got to take those with a grain of salt either way. It's more about, like I said, just being process driven about the day in, day out, not getting too caught up in the good or the bad. Maybe if there's a stretch to go back and live those moments, just kind of see them visually might help. But I really don't try to live off that type of stuff too much. Instead, just kind of be very, very present of how I feel it. The ball's moving, the body's moving in the present.
This team obviously has some openings, even though everybody talks about running it back with everybody but PJ pretty much. But there are 2 spots in the starting lineup that look like they could potentially be open. There's a lot of different ways that Spoke can go. You feel pretty comfortable playing with all kinds of combinations on this team, right? Whatever direction Eric wants to go in?
Yeah, that's not my job, man, to figure out who plays well with whom. For me, this training camp is all about just getting back out there and competing and having fun, instilling some joy. Hopefully into the way I play, but then hopefully, the way other people play. And just showing that I'm capable, man. Continuing to prove it, show it. Being back together, collaborating, all that sort of good stuff that coaches love using as buzzwords. So that's what it's about. I mean, the rotation and stuff, above my pay grade, man. It's for coaches and stuff to figure out. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
You want to coach someday? You have any interest in that?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Time will tell.
But you're having fun again, right? Is that the key thing?
Yeah. That's been a big emphasis for me. Just try to enjoy it, So it's been, what's not to enjoy, right? As crazy as that sounds, I've had stretches in my career where I haven't been able to, and we're in the Bahamas, playing a game. So
that's the thing. I mean, covering you for a couple of years, it always looked like you were having fun.
Yeah.
But during that stretch, it looked like it was wearing on you.
It's not much fun when you're shooting 25% from 3 or whatever it is. So they come hand in hand. It's a symbiotic relationship. One can thrive when the other's in check. So man, we'll see.
Thank you for listening to the 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Hey, Becky, what about this beat for your next song?
It's cool, but I'm into faster stuff lately, like Xfinity that gives me beyond gig speeds.
Got it. What about this then?
It sounds powerful, just like Xfinity. Because its supersonic Wi-Fi has 3 times the bandwidth, you can connect hundreds of devices at once.
That's what I call power.
Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed. Requires compatible Xfinity gateway. Limited quantities available.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. They're the ones who proudly say no to living on someone else's terms and schedule. And when it comes to insurance, they find the savings they need to keep driving. And with savings of up to $1,044 per year when you switch to Direct Auto, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote today at directauto.com or find a store near you. Data from August 2021 new customer survey. Savings, if any, vary. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.